About 2 weeks ago, I put out a community post telling y'all to comment y'all's favorite wrestlers and matches so far this year, and right now, we're gonna go through those comments. And the first one is from EFW Forever, saying his favorite wrestler is Will Ospreay, and his favorite match of the year so far is Okada versus Takeshita from Double or Nothing. And these are pretty valid takes, I think. Okada versus Takeshita is one of the most reoccurring matches of the year, not just in his post, but just from fans in general. And this is just for the first 6 months of 2026, and I firmly believe once we get to December later on this year, Okada vs Takeshita will still be in the conversation for best matches of the year. And Will Ospreay only coming back in March, so he's only been back in AEW for about 3 months now, a little over 3 months now, and he's made such an impression like he always does amongst the AEW fan base, not just with his match quality, but in this great storyline with the Death Riders of them rebuilding Ospreay back up into his best form. I love the segments they have. I love the pep talks Moxley gives to Ospreay. I love how they kind of bounce off of each other. I love Ospreay's dynamics with each of the members of the Death Riders. It was so heartwarming to see the Death Riders root on Will Ospreay to win the Owen final. And even if he wasn't having this storyline, his match quality this year has been, again, just insane. That match against Mox at Dynasty and the following Wednesday against Etacero, the Mark Davis match, the Samoa Joe match. Will Ospreay, I think since like 2022, ever since he first appeared in AEW and really got on everybody's radar, has been in a conversation for best wrestler of every year since 2022. Next is from Ahan Leto or Ahan Leto. I apologize if I mispronounced your name. His favorite wrestler is Takeshita, and his favorite match of the year so far is FTR vs the Young Bucks from Revolution. Amongst most people, FTR vs Bucks is probably the best tag team match. My favorite tag team match, at least so far, is the Bucks versus Okada and Takeshita. And I'm kind of bummed that match is being talked about more. It feels like it's kind of been forgotten, which is pretty crazy because that match was spectacular. But back to the Bucks versus FTR, they've had 5 matches so far, and it's probably the best one. I want to say easily because I really love their all-in match and the ladder match they had, and just all the matches actually just all phenomenal. And that's why I don't understand why people complain about FTR over the Young Bucks running it back. I know they do it about once a year, but every time they get in the ring with each other, it's awesome. Like how you can complain about incredible wrestling? The build-ups in the matches, yeah, it leaves a lot to be desired. But once the bell rings and they have this incredible tag team match, you remember again why people wanted these teams to fight for so long. And Takeshita has had a standout year so far. Leading into the Double or Nothing match with Okada, I was kind of down on the whole story because it feels like it lost its steam so long ago. But I'm still glad that you at least went through with the match, and they finally pulled the trigger on Takeshita getting a big win because, man, that's been so long overdue. I know he was international champion like 2 years ago, I think, in 2024, but he was a heel, so it didn't really affect this moment we've all been waiting for because we're supposed to not like him, right? But now, since he's actually a good guy and we're supposed to be rooting for him, the title win felt so rewarding. And just throughout the year, beginning of the year, he started off with that great feud against Moxley. He had a great string of matches that culminated in an excellent match at Revolution, one of my favorite matches of the year so far. And just little matches in between, like his most recent one against Ricochet on Dynamite, his defense against Dan Garcia was awesome on Collision. Takeshita can seemingly do no wrong. Next from Ben Weatrack 4559, again, I'm so sorry if I mispronounced any of your names. His favorite wrestler is Will Ospreay, and his favorite match is Darby vs Ciampa. Like I said earlier, Will Ospreay has always been in conversation for best wrestler of the year for the past few years now. And when he does eventually win the AEW title, he has some defenses, and the Death Rider storyline either continues or ends, he will still be in a conversation for best wrestler of the year in 2026. And Darby vs Ciampa is a damn good match. It's one of my favorite matches of the year. I'm probably gonna say that a lot because you guys have commented some great matches. His first defense against Ciampa is it's definitely my favorite title defense, at least of the matches he won, because the MJF match at Double or Nothing, I just rewatched it and it's so amazing. But at least matches where he retained the title, the Ciampa one's probably the best one. It also kind of seemed like a coming out party for Tommaso Ciampa. Even with the TNT title reign, it was so short, we kind of couldn't really see what he could do in AEW. And he kind of just had matches since then. He just had a match on Collision, a match on Dynamite. But I think this is his first meaty match in AEW, and we got to see what he was truly capable of in promotion. And yeah, so many people warmed up to the idea of Tommaso Ciampa in AEW. He wasn't just another ex-WWE guy coming for a paycheck and trying to go back for WrestleMania moment. He is in AEW because he believes in AEW and he loves being here. And a match like this one against Darby just proved any doubters wrong. From Wrestling Blade, Racy Ace, again, I apologize if I mispronounced the name. His favorite wrestler is Will Ospreay once again, another commenter saying Will Ospreay. His favorite match so far is Mask vs. Mask, a Grande Americano vs. the original. Now, if you read my post about my thoughts on this match, I don't follow WWE at all or AAA at all. So I watched the Mask with Mask match in a bubble pretty much, and it still really blew me away. Not even knowing the entire, I think it's like over a year they built this up, so not even having all that build up in my head, just watching it bell to bell, it was still an excellent match. And for most people who, you know, do follow those shows and who are more invested in the storyline than I was, this match is probably going to be in their conversations for best of the year when December comes around. But honestly, won't be in mine in the grand scheme of things. If we're talking strictly WWE or AAA, I guess, then yes, this is obviously the best match that he had this year so far. But it won't be in my conversation for best match of the year, looking at other promotions like AEW, Rev Pro, New Japan, and whatever indies I may come across throughout the year. Just because I don't have that emotional attachment to it. I didn't follow the weeks of programming leading up to this match, so I didn't really feel like this culmination that I feel like to a lot of people. And once again, Will Ospreay appears in the best wrestler category. Like I said, he's always been in a conversation for best wrestler of the year for years now, and he still will be coming towards the end of the year. Next up, from his favorite wrestler is Yoshiki Inamura, and his favorite match is Inamura vs. Alpha Wolf from Noah. I want to apologize right now because I saw this comment when he first posted it, and I was supposed to watch at least just the Alpha Wolf match. I never got to it. I got really busy with this family stuff and house stuff and traveling some, so I never got to watching this match. I hope I get to watch this match soon. And from what I've seen and heard, it's not even that much, just a little bit actually. Since leaving WWE NXT, or if he got released, I'm not so sure. It seems like Inamura has been doing pretty good for himself, and even the little glimpses I've seen of Inamura in NXT, he seemed good. He was very charismatic. He seemed fun in the ring. The thing was Josh Briggs, and he had a match against Fraxium, I think, and this is during the time where Fraxium was just having bangers against any team in NXT. He even had a banger against Hank and Tank, and in that match, Inamura was really impressive. I'm happy that Inamura is finding success outside, you know, the big dog of promotions, WWE. Contrary to popular belief, you can't succeed outside of the WWE bubble, and Inamura is one of the many examples proving that right now. Christian RC3131 says, and again, my mistake, I apologize if I mispronounced your name. His favorite wrestler of the year so far is Jon Moxley, and his match of the year so far is Swerve vs. Ospreay from Forbidden Door. Me and you both, man. I rewatched this match this morning as I'm recording this, and especially on the rewatch, I knew what was coming. Just instant chills throughout the entire match. Again, just so emotional seeing Ospreay winning this after the work he's put in with the Death Riders, them celebrating, him hugging Alex Windsor, the pyro going off as Claudio and Moxley holding him up. I was looking for his word earlier when I was talking about this. It felt so cathartic, and it's gonna be even more cathartic and even more emotional when he wins the title at All In, whether it is from MJF or in the rumor being Omega, or even a three-way between Omega, Ospreay, and MJF. I can't begin to describe just how amazing this match is. You have to go watch it for yourself. And your favorite wrestler being Jon Moxley is so valid. What a turnaround Moxley has had in like the past year after that dreadful world title run he had for late 2024, early 2025, almost half the year. And he's even more captivating without the world title. The stuff he did with Darby, the crisis of confidence he had against O'Reilly last year, and his run to C2, him losing 2 marquee matches into C2, and then him working his way up to winning the whole damn thing. His face turn mid-match against Kyle Fletcher at World's End was amazing. I have never seen anything like that before. Yeah, I'm loving Jon Moxley right now. Like I said, the stuff they're doing right now with the Death Riders and Ospreay, so good. Probably the best thing on AEW. Certainly my favorite story in wrestling right now. And finally, from Ari Lovett, again, if I mispronounce your name, I'm so sorry. His or her favorite wrestler is Darby Allin, and their match of the year so far is Hangman Page versus MJF Texas Deathmatch Revolution. Honorable mentions being Punk vs. Reigns, Mask vs. Mask, and Tanahashi vs. Okada. That's the first I heard Tanahashi and Okada in this post, and it's the only time I've heard it. Again, I'm gonna make the same argument I made with Mask vs. Mask. Tanahashi, I haven't been attached emotionally to Tanahashi, admittedly at all, because the first time I actually saw him was when he was first appearing in AEW for the first Forbidden Door, so he was already way past his prime by then. But going back and watching his old matches, and even just watching his retirement in a bubble, because I didn't really see most of the matches leading up to his retirement, that was still an emotional moment. I think the last 2 hours of Wrestle Kingdom was dedicated to just that entire segment, from the entrance to the match, the post-match to the celebration, all that, and that was still very emotional. And this is coming from somebody that hasn't followed Tanahashi for that very long, honestly. But with the actual official pick of Page was the MJF and Texas Deathmatch, this was in bonkers Texas Deathmatch, probably the most divisive Texas Deathmatch AEW's done, just because it was really overkill with the violence. And this is coming from somebody that likes deathmatch wrestling to an extent. To me, this didn't really cross that line that it did for some people. My biggest gripe with Hangman and MJF is actually, it was just so freaking long. It was almost as long as, or maybe just a bit longer than the first Omega Okada match. It's at least 46 minutes. I don't know the exact seconds, but I know it's 46 minutes. That's what I said on Cage Match when I first looked it up. It will be in my conversation for best match of the year. It won't be like top 3 just because it's so long, and long matches don't really have like that much rewatch value to me, because rewatching matches, especially long ones like this, I gotta put aside like an entire hour of my day just to watch this, as opposed to like, you know, 20-30 minute match that I can kind of watch this anytime throughout the day. It is a damn good match though, and favorite wrestler being Darby Allin is so valid. I honestly am shocked Darby came back this early, and I believe if Darby just took the rest of the year off, which maybe he probably should honestly, if he took the rest of the year off after Double or Nothing, his title reign and defenses was so freaking good that he would still be in the conversation, I think, for best wrestler. If December came around and Darby still hadn't come back, he took the rest of the year off, that 1 month he was so strong that he still would have been in the best wrestlers conversation. That's how good that title reign and his matches were. But yeah, that's it for this video. If you missed out on the post and want to comment your favorite matches of wrestlers of the year, feel free to do so down below. Hope y'all enjoyed this video. Thank y'all for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.